Hello, Facebook. What is happening? It is Nakia Kiki Brown with Just Ask Kiky, travel consulting and author. We are here today to follow up on our Just Ask Kiky traveling moment. Last time we spoke, we talked about a gadget I use for my toddler. And today, at the suggestion of one of my viewers, we're going to talk about traveling with senior citizens or anybody that has special needs. It could be a child or an adult in a special situation. I'm going to focus on this particular video specifically with going to the airport, to and from the airport. You're going to use this information. So this is the beginning of your trip that you would set up and how to do what you would do in this situation. So first off, again, this is Nakia Kiki Brown. I am the owner and operator of Just Ask Kiky. It's a travel consulting business. What I do is I set up concierge service for my clients to make sure they go where they want to go, how they want to go, and they know what they're going to do when they get there. In this situation, if you are one of my customers that's traveling with someone with disabilities, or they are an older person that might need some assistance, my job is to make sure that you get there safely and that you're going to be happy. You won't have any problems or issues. So you would come to me and I would set all of that up. So things to know when you're traveling with someone in this condition. First off, everybody can travel. I'll say just about everybody. There's very few conditions where you're unable to travel. You may just need to change the type of way you travel in order to get to that destination. But in most cases, you can travel. The first thing you want to do before you do anything else is to check with your doctor. If you have a physical illness, restriction, whatever the case may be, you need to check with your physician to make sure that you are prepared and can either be on a plane, train, or whatever means of transport, a car for a long period of time. You can't treat it the same as when you're going around town where you live at, because those are short distances. You have to treat it specifically to what you're going to do and find out what you can do, because you may not be able to get on a plane, but you may be able to ride in a train somewhere or get on a boat. Those things may not be as difficult. So, but in most cases, anybody that has any issues whatsoever can get on any forms of these transportations. Again, I'm not a doctor, so I cannot tell you if your condition is something that you would not be able to utilize on a plane, train, or vehicle. I could just tell you what the standard knowledge is, and as far as everything else, your doctor will have to explain that as first. So point number one, go and seek advice from your doctor. One of the main things, I just did a trip with some wonderful ladies that I guess you would call seasoned. And some of those had some mobility issues. So we did a trip and we did 4 days in Florida. And I think it went rather well. I mean, there were some disconnects, but for the most part, it went rather well. So some of the things you want to know about, first off, is wheelchair access. And wheelchair access can be for anybody who they just can't walk long distances. They may be able to walk fine, but long distances may be an issue. And when you're thinking about, I know in the airport, they're not as long, but they are, you got to go up escalators, you got to go through security. All of these things can be a strain on your body. So some people, that may be too much for them. So you want to make sure you get wheelchair access. This can be obtained a couple of ways. You can either do it through your airline ticket, which is the most convenient way. If you set it up on your airline ticket, when you go to check into your airline, they will put it on your ticket, and the person who is checking you in is going to make sure that the airport services comes and gets you and puts you in the wheelchair and takes you to your gate. Now, some key things to note with this: if you're not ready to go to your gate yet, like in our situation, we had a group, so we were waiting for people. If we're going to wait before we go through security, we need to be prepared in that situation. And basically, you can either let them know they can either get you to wherever you're going to meet up with your group, or wherever you're going to wait until you want to go through security. And then would leave you unattended if that's the case that you need to have. And then they will come back and get you to take you through security and get you on your plane. So first day step, you would either do it through your airline or you can call the airport directly and they will set up wheelchair service for you there. You can call them like a half hour before you're going to arrive and they will meet you out in front to take you in either at the where you get out right outside or take you inside or wherever you need to go for that wheelchair. They'll be there waiting on you. Either way will work. Like for me as the agent working on your travel plans, I would set that up through the airline. So as soon as you check in for your flight, you would immediately get that wheelchair access. And again, this is for anybody who has difficulty where they actually cannot walk at all, or if they just have difficulty walking the distance or waiting and getting through security and need assistance, they need to be sitting down, they can get this wheelchair access. It's just something that you ask for. And it doesn't cost anything, but you should note that you should tip whoever is assisting you. So anybody in the service field, you should provide a tip for unless it is indicated that tips are not allowed. Everybody who works in the service industry works really hard to make sure that they're taking care of you, so you should take care of them. They don't get paid hourly a lot of money in order to do these things, so they survive off of the tips that you provide, and you're providing an extra service for them. They're doing something extra for you, and a lot of them really take to heart and try to really take care of you and make sure that you have everything that you need. So make sure that you tip your attendee. So we got wheelchair access down. Getting through security, or well, let's talk about equipment. On our last trip I had some people that had breathing machines and asthma machines. Again, the first thing with those things is that you need to check with your doctor first. There are some machines that are not allowed on airplanes because of the pressurized system. Trains and cars, well, you'll be in a car, so you could just be able to put something on the car, into the car. But if for trains, you might need to have some kind of form or something that you provide in order to put something on a train as well. So make sure that you have a doctor's note or something, or talk to your doctor to make sure that this item can go on a train or plane or whatever the case may be. There are stipulations that if you're booking through me, I'm going to let you know based off of the airline's regulations. These are the things that it has to be compliant with in order to get on that plane. Otherwise, you need to pack it if it's able to be packed. If it's something that you need to carry, if you need to use it while you're on the plane, that's another thing that you need to get okayed by a doctor. They need to say that this is something that can be used. Whatever you have has to be compliant with the airline and with the regulation rules. Doctors and airline, they know what these rules are. Me, the travel agent, I'm just reading them off of a list that they have provided for me. So I'm not a doctor. I cannot tell you what can be used in a pressurized area. All I can tell you is what is listed on the airline system that based off of the regulations that they have. So they're going to tell you the same thing. You know, they need to know that it's compliant, and they're going to be looking for certain things on your equipment in order to make sure it's compliant. So they'll be checking you when you check in to get your ticket and to check out your baggage. They'll check you when you go through security. They will also check whatever that is when you get on the plane. If it's something that you use while you're on the plane, they're going to check it in flight, and they will check it before you leave the plane. This is our regulation. So this could be anything. Like I said, I had an asthma machine, I had a breathing machine. This could be any type of device that you need to have on your person with you while traveling. And most of these things are, if you're at an airport, is where they matter most. So not to say it doesn't matter how you travel. If you travel by rail, if you're traveling out of the country and you're traveling on Euro or any type of train or bus, you still need to make sure that this type of equipment is allowed, because everything cannot go everywhere. You also need to make sure that they're wheelchair accessible, and that you can get on and off vehicles without any problem. That's again something me as a travel agent, if you're traveling with me, that's something I would do ahead of time. But you also need to make me aware. I cannot do things without you making me aware. If you don't tell me that you have this issue, you need this taken care of, I need to make sure. So even if you're getting on trains and buses, also need to make sure they're compliant, because there's some regulations with those as well. Not all buses can take every motorized or wheelchair vehicle onto the bus. They're restricted to a number of items of those type. So I don't want you to get upset if you go somewhere on your own and they've already registered two or three people to be on this bus and they cannot take another person with a wheelchair and you have to wait and miss your bus. That's something you have to share with me so I can make sure that everything lines up. We already talked about the equipment on the plane. I'm looking at a list, y'all. So if you have comments or questions, please put them in the comment section. I think I can still see them. I have a couple of polls up here, so you can answer those polls. I love to find out who out there is traveling with folks with special needs. If you have anything you want to contribute, that you want to add to that I'm not talking about or haven't mentioned, please mention that in the comments so people can see it. Make sure you like and share this video. Last thing we want to talk about is, well, getting through security. That's another thing. When you have wheelchair access, there will be an attendee from the airport that will take you through security. You go through a special line because they will not force you to get up and take your shoes off and all of that kind of stuff. They're going to help you get through security, and if they need to take jackets off or whatever, the attendee will help you and assist you with all of that. And getting you through the line and getting everything back on you and getting you checked out. They're still going to scan you. You can't avoid that. Then also when you're deboarding a plane, again, the attendee from wherever you're deboarding, they will come and get you still in the wheelchair as soon as you get off the plane, and they're going to take you to the baggage claim and help you get your bags off of the carousel, and then help you get to your ride, wherever your ride is, to get you out of the airport. So the assistance is really nice. It's really good. That's why I say you need to tip your attendees, because they make sure they take care of you and get you where you're going. Renting equipment. Now, a lot of regulations because of, I want to say 9/11 might be the cause of it, but it just security features all overall. I don't think all airports are under this, but most airports, you can't get your equipment delivered to the airport. So like if you need a wheelchair or a scooter, all of that stuff can be delivered in just about any major city. You can have that stuff delivered, and they will come and take it to wherever you are. So they'll deliver to a house, they'll deliver to your hotel. I know in Orlando for a fact that they do not deliver to the airport because of security reasons. So in that case, you would need to be able to get to whatever location to pick up your scooter. In a trip that I recently booked, I had scooters delivered to the hotel. So the company came out, they presented the scooters, and I actually, I at least delivered one of them to the person who rented it. So I took possession of it and brought it to the person. But the hotel will usually keep it usually at a bellhop. They'll have it there, and you just come and claim it, give them your name and your confirmation number, and you'll be able to pick that scooter or wheelchair or whatever device. You can get car seats, you can get strollers, anything that you need, you can rent it. So you don't necessarily have to carry this stuff with you onto the plane if you have it. If you have it, it's convenient, but you also got to consider transporting with scooters and wheelchairs and car seats, which we talked about in our last video, strollers. Those things, if you take those with you, you can check them at the gate. You can check them before the gate if you feel comfortable with that, or you can take them all the way to the gate and you get this special tag. And when you're going through the tunnel to get onto your flight, there's a little in-cave, little circle area. That's where you would leave your stroller, your wheelchair, your scooter, whatever. Scooters more than likely would have to be folded up in order to be stored on the plane. And that's exactly where you would pick it up when you deboard, that same little concave area. It'll be waiting on you when you get off the plane. That's also where your attendee will be waiting for you to put you in your wheelchair to take you to baggage claim. So other than that, I think that pretty much concludes everything that I wanted to talk about as far as getting to and from the airport for anyone who has disabilities, who is a senior citizen, anybody with mobility issues. They may need additional assistance, additional medical equipment. And again, this is for any age. Doesn't matter what age. There's no restriction on that. You just have to be in this condition, and the airlines and your forms of transportation will take care of you. So it's just a matter of asking and making sure that you are very clear with whatever travel agent you may use if you don't use Just Ask Kiky. But definitely with me, I just need to know all of that information up front, and we'll get you to where you want to be safely and comfortably. So this concludes today's Just Ask Kiky travel moment. Again, don't forget to like and share this video. Don't forget to make comments if you want to add to anything that I'm talking about today specific to traveling in the airport for anyone with disabilities, senior citizens, mobility issues, any type of medical issues. Please add that in. We would love to share that with all of our viewers. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Just travel with Just Ask Kiky. Peace.